What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about an issue that we see in most inner cities across the nation. Some of you have dealt with this firsthand. Maybe you worked in the ER, or maybe you were a first responder. Maybe you have family members who have some sort of addiction. It's hard to witness in real time. It's hard to be around, especially when it's family members, because you're essentially seeing your family member pretty much disintegrate right before your eyes. When you see them, they look lifeless. They're a shell of who they used to be. You saw the opening clips. It's hard to see. And I think anyone with any ounce of compassion would feel something. It's heartbreaking, but the question is, what can the Christian do? What do we do? Well, the first thing is having the right mindset. We've probably all seen the person on the street corner with the sign or hanging out in front of Walmart looking for spare change. They look dirty, hungover, high, or coming off a high, or drunk. They look like the scum of the earth, right? But are they really?
Anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. If I would have known, if I would have known, oh.
I have a pastor friend who carries Narcan in his pocket because sometimes he just comes across people who have OD'd. And I have a friend actually who's used to be a first responder. I asked him, what are some of the worst calls you remember going on? He said ODs. He said ODs are the hardest thing to see. But again, what do we do as Christians? How can we play a role that can have impact? Well, we have to understand that these people are humans. They're someone's child. They're someone's mom, dad. You may say, well, what does that have to do with me? I heard people say they're the ones that made the choice. They made their bed, so they have to sleep in it. You're right. What does it have to do with you? They made their choice. Well, let's go to scripture. Matthew 25:35-40. This is a Message translation. Then the king will say to those on the right, enter, you who are blessed by my Father. Take what's coming to you in the kingdom. It's been ready for you since the world's foundation. And here's why. I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was homeless, and you gave me a room. I was shivering, and you gave me clothes. I was sick, and you stopped and visited. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then those sheep are going to say, Master, what are you talking about? When did we ever see you hungry and feed you, thirsty and give you a drink? And when did we ever see you sick or in prison and come to see you? Then the king will say, I'm telling the solemn truth. Whenever you did one of these things to someone overlooked or ignored, that was me. You did it to me. Let me tell you guys a story. I remember my father used to tell me a story of this stranger that came knocking one day, and he opened the door. The guy looked homeless. He looked like a bum, but the guy was hungry. So my dad felt compassion, let him in, gave him something to eat, he didn't say much, had a, small conversation. The guy thanked him and he was on his way. As soon as my dad closed the door, he remembered something to tell him. And as soon as he opened that door, he said the guy was gone. He couldn't see him down the street. It was literally like a couple seconds. He opened the door, the guy was gone. I was a little kid, and that stuck with me to today. Let's go to scripture. Hebrews 13:2. Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for some who have done this have entertained angels without realizing it. We are servants, and we need to serve to the best of our ability. I know some will say they're going to use the money for their next high or their next fix. Well, maybe you might be right, but that's between them and God, and you have little control over that. But if you're concerned that will happen and you don't want to be an enabler, I get it. There are several ways you can get involved to help your fellow man. You can volunteer at a bunch of places. You can give to a bunch of organizations outside of the church. Find a way to bless the less fortunate. Find a way to show someone the love of Christ. Show someone some compassion. Give and don't expect anything in return. Show a cold world what it means to be a disciple of Christ. And please, look, please don't post it on social media. I don't know how many people I've seen do kind things for people and record it and put it on social media to be seen, to receive the praise of man. Well, that right there is your reward. But instead, do it in secret. Matthew 6:3-4. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what the right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will himself reward you openly. Don't look for the praise of man. There have been things, guys, that I have done for people who are less fortunate that nobody knows about except for me and God. So I get it. Social media has become a place to post all things, and sometimes it can be good to post good deeds if you're doing it in a way to encourage others to do good deeds. But learn to store up your treasures in heaven. I'd rather have my reward in heaven than to receive praise from man. So there are a lot of hurting people out there that could use the love of Christ, that could use a helping hand, that could use just a kind gesture. And we see in the clips there. Man, there are a lot of people just simply surviving. Especially the last one I showed you. I mean, just lifeless, right? But as Christians, we can make an impact. Find a way to get involved, to show someone the love of Christ, to love on somebody, to minister to them, to lend a helping hand. Now, you may not be able to help the masses, but maybe it's just one person, two people. Who knows? Maybe you can get involved in a young person's life, and you see someone, that doesn't have anything. Guys, listen. Scripture tells us that the poor will always be among us. There are always going to be poor people around, and that means we can have impact in their life. There's ways we can get involved to help, and so find a way. And guys, that's always be bold, be blessed, but most importantly, be biblically constructed.